Okay, good morning again. So I have put a question in the chat box, or what is that known as post general. Are you responding? Did you respond to that question? Agantuk, are you able to see that question?
Yes, sir.
You are able to see that
Yes,
question?
sir.
Yeah, about to vote also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Actually, as an instructor, we do not have the student view, na? That's the problem. So don't know what you are able to see, what you are not able to see. Let me see if I can get the response by now. It says zero response as of now. Please respond. Don't fear that will be evaluation will be taken in consideration for grading, etc. Calculate and respond. Let me see how much you have understood. Yeah, I can see one response. How do I know the response? All of you, please do that. So what is the answer, by the way? 12. I can. Okay, so you can stop now. Okay, so what the question? Question was here.
আমার চেতনা চৈতন্য
Who is this? Yes, Ananya.
Hello.
Ananya, you are trying to sing a song or what? Hello, Ananya.
Sorry, my mic.
You're somebody in your family?
So
Don't
my
worry.
mic was activated. Sorry.
That's okay, but that's okay. Not a problem. All right. So the question was, sorry, the question was what? You had EBITDA 20,000, 2,000, depreciation, etc. Let me copy that. I am not able to see the result. That's the problem. Is the question? Okay, so what is the operating cash flow? What is the answer, by the way? Anyone? Yes. Anyone, please go ahead. Though whatever you have responded. VAT 20,000, interest 2,000, depreciation 4,000, and tax rate 30%. Yeah, what is the answer? What is the answer? Ananya, what is the answer that you have given?
12,600.
Okay, Ajay, what is the answer you have given? Ajay Menon. Ajay, are you there? Okay. No problem. Saptarshi? Saptarshi Mondal.
Yes, sir. I'm
What is the
audible.
answer you have given?
Sir, 9,800.
9,800 option was there? It was there, right? Okay. So, anyone else? Any other answer was given? Please go ahead. Anyone else? Please please tell me. Any other answer other than these two? Sai Prapul Reddy. What is the answer you have given? So all of you have given either of these two. Okay. Anyway, so operating cash flow is nothing but EBIT into 1 minus T. The formula is earnings before interest and tax into 1 minus T plus depreciation. That is your operating cash flow formula. So in that way, what is my EBIT? EBIT is how much? 20,000 minus 4,000 into 1 minus tax rate, that is 30%. Okay, then add back depreciation. So interest figure is misleading here. For EBI operating cash flow calculation, interest figure has no role as such. Okay.
But sir, that interest can be short-term interest, and we would have to include that, right? Because operating cash flow, if I understand, it's the long-term interest components which we don't count. So short-term debt, etc., should be counted, right?
Who said that to you?
I don't know. That's just what I thought.
What is the basis? What is the basis? No, you thought something. What is the basis of this argument? Did you read somewhere it is mentioned something like that? You just thought like that. No, you have to give it. You have to cite his work, na? You have to cite some text. Just a minute. On what basis do you say that short-term interest is operating cash flow or long-term is a financing cash flow? On what basis do you say that?
So if I Google operating cash flow, Wikipedia says in financial accounting.
Wikipedia is not IIT professor.
Of course, but it has given a reference to Ross, Stephen, Randolph, Westerfield, and Bradford fundamentals of. I don't know. I'm asking.
You tell no. You cite Ross. I'll go by that. Wikipedia is, of course, I'm not denying this is no role for the Wikipedia because there are several things even I also may go for that. Okay, but when you are citing something in the class, okay, you must to go by the text actually, established textbook. So
yeah,
interest unless and otherwise mentioned. Interest unless and otherwise mentioned. Interest is a financing cash flow. Okay. And for the purpose of operating cash flow calculation in the context of capital budgeting, it is simple. Whether you refer Ross or whatever book, Briley Myers, whatever book you refer, it will be earnings before interest and tax into 1 minus T, that gives you net operating profit after tax. Add back depreciation, that gives you the operating cash flow. There is no dispute regarding it. There could be some special exceptional cases. Exceptional cases are the norm for us. We have to go by normal cases. Okay. Okay. So in that case, what is the answer? In this case, actually none of the above is the answer because you didn't have 15,200 option, right? In the poll given, correct? Yes, Abhyuk, you are now convinced or you still have a doubt?
I don't really. I'm convinced.
Okay, anyway. You have any specific other more discussion, you can always discuss with me in person, not a problem. So that I can clarify the doubt that you have in your mind. Okay. So anyway, so operating cash flow simple, it is nothing but it is NOPAT plus depreciation. That is your operating cash flow. Okay. So NOPAT is EBIT in 1 minus T, add back depreciation comes to that. Okay. So we have in the previous class we have done something about payback period and I have not. I'll upload this spreadsheet today. Definitely, I forgot that to do. Let us now go to one more problem where you will look at how to find out the NPV of a particular project with certain information given. Okay. Now look at this particular problem. You have got a product which you will produce and sell, and the sales price per unit going to realize is 120 rupees. And for producing this particular product, you have two operating costs. One is variable cost. Variable cost will vary as number of units vary. Another is called fixed cost. Fixed cost will not vary irrespective of production. So variable cost per unit is 50 rupees and fixed cost per annum excluding depreciation. Depreciation is also fixed cost. Excluding depreciation is 1,50,000 rupees. You are going to say, you are expected to sell 10,000 units per annum, and your cost of capital is already given here. That is, you will find it out. It is there for 15%. You are subject to 30% tax rate. You have to make an investment of 11 lakh rupees in terms of machine to start with, and the machine will be having a life of 5 years. At the end of 5 years, it will be disposed. It is expected to dispose of at 1 lakh rupees. And since nothing is mentioned about depreciation, we will assume straight line method depreciation. And to start with, you have to make an arrangement of working capital. Working capital is nothing but current assets minus current liabilities to the extent 2 lakh rupees. You have to make that arrangement. So 2 lakh rupees is your initial investment also. So when you are looking at the cash flow estimation here, your cash flow estimation for 0th year will be how much cash flow? Tell me, anyone, please raise your hand. What is the cash flow for the 0th year? Please raise your hand and answer. What is the cash flow for 0th year? This initial cash flow. Yeah, one hand raised. Any more? Please. 0.5 marks will be given for raising the hand. No one else? Very bad or very good? Or two more hands. Khushbu is also there. Supratim is there. Very good. Yeah. Avyukt, you have raised the hand fast. I have to answer. Ask you first.
Sir, I only raised for 0.5 marks.
No, you raised before I told that.
Okay, fair enough. So we have to. Can I tell the formula or do you have to give the number?
No, you tell the answer.
Okay, I didn't have the exact number in mind, but I could tell you cell wise if you should.
Excel spread is your in. It is shared, na? You can see that screen, na?
Yes, it is shared.
So tell me from there only.
So I'll have to calculate it once. I thought you
no,
were
let me go to.
formula.
Okay, no problem. Let me go to Khushbu. Khushbu, what is the answer?
2 lakh.
2 lakh. Supratim?
Sir, 13 lakh.
Very good. 13 lakh is the answer. So initial cash flow consists of the initial investment in machine plus the initial investment in working capital. That is 13 lakh rupees. 11 plus 2 lakh rupees, 13 lakh rupees. Okay. Very good. Now we have to estimate the cash flow for each year. But here no problem. You have to do only for 1 year because your sales is constant. The sales is constant. Your fixed cost is one of the constant. Then your depreciation is also constant. In that case, you do not have to estimate the cash flow for each year. You just estimate for 1 year. That is applicable for the every year. Okay. So what you're going to do, you are going to first find out the operating cash flow for each year. So what is my revenue? Revenue is how much? What is the multiplication I do? I have 120 rupees into what? Number of units. That is 10,000. What is my variable cost? Again, 50 rupees into number of units. Okay. And sales minus variable cost gives you a item called contribution. So sales minus variable cost is known as contribution margin. So G5 minus G6. So that gives you contribution. What is contribution here? Let me talk about certain utility of this particular concept. So when say 7 lakh rupees is your contribution, this contribution now will be used to recover fixed cost, including depreciation. After recover the fixed cost, if the contribution is 0, let's say. After the recovering contribution, after recovering the fixed cost, if your contribution margin left over is 0, what does it mean? What does it mean? What is the situation? Are you getting my point? Suppose you got not the 7 lakh rupees. Let's say you got contribution amount of X rupees, which is equal to fixed cost, including depreciation. In that case, what will happen to operating profit? If contribution is equal to fixed cost or depreciation, what will be your operating profit? What will be operating profit? If contribution is equal to this plus this, what will be operating profit? Operating profit is contribution minus fixed cost. So what will be operating profit? There the fixed cost and depreciation together is same as contribution. What will be operating profit? It should not be taking so much time.
Depreciation.
No. Okay, let me clarify here. Operating cost includes depreciation. Okay. Fixed cost includes depreciation. Operating cost consider two costs, variable cost and fixed cost. Fixed cost could be rent, advertisement, okay, promotional expense you have to anyway pay. And fixed cost will also include depreciation. So fixed cost is segregated in two parts. One is depreciation, another is non-depreciation. Depreciation is a non-cash cost. On the other cost are cash cost. Cash, you have a cash flow there. Depreciation doesn't have any cash flow. Okay. So in that case, what will happen to contribution to my fixed cost then? If fixed cost include depreciation and contribution is equal to same as fixed cost. What does it mean? Profit will be how much? What will be the profit? No one? I'm sorry, I'm not able to get across. If contribution is equal to fixed cost, what does it mean? Fixed cost which includes depreciation. What will be PBIT? Now you tell. I have clearly mentioned in the text here.
0.
0. Oh, in search of 0, it took so much time. Maybe I was not able to convey the question properly. I can only think that. Okay. And so that point is called known as break-even point. Okay. Operating break-even point. What is operating break-even point? Where your operating profit is 0. Okay. Right. So that is your break-even point as such. Now, okay, and we'll go to that. We'll come back to that particular point a little later. Let us first do the cash flow calculation. So what is my fixed cost excluding depreciation? Yeah.
So why is revenue negative?
Which is negative?
Revenue.
Revenue is negative.
Shouldn't it be negative because initial investment in machine is cash outflow?
So revenue will be plus, na? Why negative? Revenue is an inflow for you or outflow for you for the organization?
Okay, sorry, I read it incorrectly. I read something. Yeah, sorry, you heard that.
Okay, so what is my fixed cost excluding depreciation? Fixed cost is initial investment in machine minus salvage value at the end of 5 years divided by number of years, that is 5 life. So my depreciation per annum is 2 lakh rupees and let me take it here. Depreciation, let me find out here itself. Okay, my fixed cost is already given. What is my fixed cost? Here it is 1, and my depreciation is, I did by mistake depreciation earlier. So depreciation is 11 lakh minus 1 lakh whole divided by number of years of the machine, life of the machine. So 2 lakh. What is my operating profit then? Contribution minus fixed cost minus depreciation. Okay. So minus depreciation G9. So that is my operating profit. What is my, sorry, that is operating profit before interest, before tax. What is my operating profit after tax? Simply operating profit before tax into 1 minus T. So G10, right? G10 into 1 minus tax rate. Tax is 30%. Okay. So what is my operating cash flow then? Can somebody tell me quickly what is my operating cash flow in this case? Yes, anyone quickly answer.
So plus depreciation.
Pardon?
Plus depreciation. The
Tell
previous
the
value plus
amount. Tell the amount. Tell the final figure.
4,45,000.
45.
4,45,000. Very good. So 2,45,000. That is what G11 plus depreciation. 4,45,000 is my operating cash flow per annum. Then I want to find out the NPV of this particular cash flow. What is that then? NPV is nothing but present value of cash inflow minus present value of cash outflow. So what is my present value of cash inflow? I can simply go and find out the annuity. It's a 4,45,000 for 5 years. You can get annuity. So I can directly find out the annuity, then multiply, or directly also can find it out, the PV. So let me find out the annuity factor. So PV rate is 15%. Number of periods is 5. Amount is, I say, -1. And then I do like this. So 3.3522, what is the interpretation? If I am going to get 1 rupee every year for next 5 years, and if you discount it today at 15%, the value comes to 3 rupees 35 paisa. So what is my present value operating cash flow? 4,45,000 into 3.3522. You can also directly calculate this one in the PV formula itself. PV rate 15%, comma, number of period this, amount you can directly tell minus this particular figure. That also you can do. So there if you so if I do that also, it will give same answer. So it is up to you. You find out the annuity and multiply, or directly take the annuity factor here. It's in the formula itself. It is up to you. Then comes what? Whatever working capital that you have invested. Let me now tell you with an example. So let's say for our clarification, you have only working capital required is inventory. Okay. So there is nothing else. Otherwise, working capital is what? Current assets minus current liabilities. Current assets consist of inventory, receivables, cash, all those things. 3 things together. Current liability consists of creditors, payables, etc. So current assets minus current liability is working capital. Let us for a while assume that we do not require any other current asset except inventory, and do not have any current liabilities. So if my inventories have to have 20,000 rupees inventory at a particular point of time, what does it mean? What does it mean? What is my net working capital? If inventory is 20,000 rupees, given these assumptions, what is my net working capital? I do not have, yes, Agantuk.
So 20,000.
Pardon?
So 20,000.
20,000. Very good, because there is no other current liability. So inventory itself is on working capital. Okay. So what I do here, when I have to start selling, I have to procure inventory first, then sales to take place. So to start my business, I arranged 20,000 rupees inventory. I got the cash from somewhere, and immediately that cash was used to buy the inventory and keep in the store. I have nothing else. Cash, whatever I got from somewhere, from some financing, I got it. Entire 20,000 rupees I got, and I gave it, and for that 20,000 rupees I bought the inventory. Right? Now this 20,000 rupees inventory will be converted to sales over a period of time, and as the sales takes place, okay, then I'll meet other expenses. I'll also pay if there is inventory. Then what will happen? Then I'll purchase the inventory for next round, like that. It keep on happening. So I have inventory of 20,000 rupees to start with, starting of the period. Okay. Now, like that, the inventory will be churned. If my sales is not going to increase, if my price is not going to increase, if input price not is going to increase, I will on an average, I'll have 20,000 rupees inventory in my hand all the time. That means the 20,000 inventory will be used and again replenish, use and replenish, use and replenish. That will keep on happening. Then what will happen at the end of the last year? Suppose 20,000 rupees inventory, every day you have consumption is 20,000 by 360. Okay, 20,000 rupees inventory you require at the end of and you consume 20,000 by 360 every day. Now for the last year, do you have replenished the inventory or not? The last year of the project, do you have replenished the inventory or not? Replenish means once inventory is over, you will get another order. Will you do or not? Yes, anyone? You got the point of replenishment? Okay, so let me take one more example. Let's say some of us join for selling some seasonal item, and seasonal item will be sold for the next 10 days. Okay. Now you keep 2 days stock, and every day you expect to sell 10 units. Okay. So what is my total duration of the project? 10 days, and you will be selling 10 units per day, and you have to keep the stock for 2 days in advance. So on the day 1 beginning, that means day 0, you will procure how many items? How many items you have to procure? To start with, how many items you have to procure? How many units?
If we're selling 10 every day, then 20.
20, because you have to keep 2 days stock always, right? So on the beginning of the day 1, I have 20 units stock. Now by the end of day 1, what will be stock in my hand? How many stocks are left over?
0.
Not 10. Why 0?
Sorry,
At
10.
the end of
10.
one day.
10.
At the end of 1 day.
Yeah.
10. But I have to keep 20 days, 2 days stock now.
So you will buy 10 more.
Then I will buy 10. So you will sell by the end of the 10 and procure one more of 10. So what will happen? That means when I sell this particular inventory, I got the cash flow. Out of that cash flow, I will use something to purchase fresh inventory. So there will be cash outflow or not for regarding inventory purchase will be there. So it will go on like this. So when 3rd day, 4th day, 5th day, 6th day, like that, when shall you stop purchasing further inventory? What will be the day? Which day?
9th.
9th you don't have to purchase. Do you have to purchase on 8th day also end? 9th day beginning or 9th day end? 9th day beginning or 9th day end?
9 day beginning.
9th day beginning. 9th day beginning is in our time value of money is known as, and cash flow estimate is known as 8th day end. So 8th day, whatever you realize the cash flow, from that cash flow, you do not have to spend anything for purchasing inventory. That means that cash flow will be a surplus cash flow for you. It is an inflow, it remains with you. You don't use it for anything else. That one, even 9th day also, you don't do that. Okay. So in that case, what happens? You are recovering your working capital towards the end, because after that you do not have to invest any further in recovering working capital in the working capital. Okay. So like that, what will happen? You will have whatever working capital that you have in the initial investment, that gets automatically recovered at the end of the project, that year, end of the cash flow. Okay. So it will be actually 9th year end and 10th year end. So in this case, so it will be 10 units inventory You don't have to purchase. 10 is going to purchase neither in the 9th year nor in the 10th year also. Okay, because that inventory is there anyway, and that you don't have project going on afterwards. If the project continues, then you have to procure the inventory assets. So that's why in the cash flow estimation, we have in the cash inflow in the last year, we have something called recovery of working capital. And recovery working capital will be a positive cash flow for us. So whatever in this case, you have 2 lakh rupees initial working capital, it gets recovered at the end of the life of the project. Okay. So what is my about the recovered at the end of the project means you have to get it to today. So what is my present value of salvage value as well as recovery? What is my present value of salvage value? What is my what is my recovery at the end of the project? In this case, one is salvage value, another is your recovery working capital, this 2 lakh rupees. Okay, and you discount it today, so divide by 1 plus R, that is your 15% to the power how much? To the power anyone?
5.
What? How many times will discount?
5.
5, because it's 5th year, na? So to the power D11 in this case. So 1 lakh. Then you got subtotal 14 lakh plus that particular is what? That is G17. Okay. Then your outflow is how much? Outflow is how much? We have already calculated earlier 11 lakh plus 2 lakh, 13 lakh. That gives you 13 lakh. And net present value is this inflow minus present value of outflow. That is what? G19. 3,40,000 rupees, 840,860 is your NPV. Okay, right? Now,
Sir.
any doubt at this point?
Yes, sir. So
Yeah,
how can we use the straight line method of depreciation and then discount and then use the present value function? Because if we look at just the cash flow, money in the bank and money out of the bank, all the money which we are giving for the machine has been given on day one. And what we are doing is, मान लो 15 लाख रुपए दिए 5 साल में. So we're giving 3 lakh rupees every year according to the straight line model, and then we are taking those 3 lakh rupees.
Why you are giving 15 lakh rupees you spend in cash outflow or cash outflow at the beginning of the year?
Beginning of the year.
3 lakh rupees is your depreciation for the tax purposes.
Yes, 3 lakh rupees is the depreciation for the tax purposes, and also for calculating operating cash flow, right? So
you add back depreciation because depreciation is non-tax item, non-cash item.
Yes, we added. Okay. So if we add those 3 lakh rupees, now effectively un 3 lakh rupee pe we are discounting it at 15%. But that 15 lakh rupees has been given on day one, so it shouldn't have any discounting. It will turn out to be
then no discounting for the 15 lakh rupees.
No, so we are in here we have discounted right after this 3 point. We are discounting
3.3522 is the factor for annual cash flow for 4,45,000.
But 4,45,000 isn't the it's basically with depreciation, right? So it's not the real cash flow. It is
real cash flow. Who said not real cash flow?
So because we're adding depreciation is just for tax.
No, you have not got the concept correct. Okay, right? That is I can tell. Depreciation is added because you deduct depreciation, which is a non-cash item. You deduct the depreciation because you get tax benefit. If I do not have depreciation, what is my profit? What is my okay, just a minute. What is my tax I pay? No, you have not got the concept correct. Please hold on. Please hold on.
Okay.
How much tax did you pay? How much tax did you pay? 3,50,000 minus 2,45,000, right? Okay. Your any doubt? In this
No.
case, how much
Yeah.
tax are you paying? 1,05,000 or not?
Yeah,
30
1,05,000.
3,50,000.
Hmm.
If I remove depreciation, my profit will go up. Let's say there is no depreciation. How much tax I am paying? 1,65,000. How much extra am I paying?
60,000.
60,000. 60,000 rupees extra you are paying, or you are paying less if you claim depreciation, because
Okay.
60,000 is
Okay.
30% 2 lakh rupees. If I
Okay.
claim 2 lakh rupees depreciation, I'll save 60,000 rupees cash in terms of tax.
Okay. So basically what we're doing is
So do
pehle,
not confuse these two things. Depreciation
yes,
is for the tax
I
benefit.
understood. I'm just confirming one. So what we're doing is pehle we are subtracting depreciation, then calculating the tax, subtracting the tax, and then adding back the depreciation. Is that
Yes, because depreciation is a non-cash
what?
item.
Got it.
So do not confuse it with initial investment. Do not do that mistake. Yes, depreciation depends on initial investment, no doubt about that. But you got two things clubbed together.
But
Okay?
but sir,
Sure.
then फिर how did we get an equal cash flow for all the 5 years? Unequal होना चाहिए ना if this is how it works.
How? How
If
it will unequal cash flow? If your depreciation is
unequal
same for
cash,
every year,
yeah.
if your depreciation is same for every year, how is that you will have unequal cash flow? Your revenue is constant and your fixed cost is anyway
The
constant.
cash flow,
Depreciation also constant. How can you uneven cash flow?
uneven cash flow should be there because on day one we are paying 11 lakh rupees for the machine. So wo 11 lakh rupees on day one should be there in the
Day one is day zero, Baba. Day one. These cash flows are end of the year.
day zero.
Day one means day zero. It's not day one. It is beginning of day one means day zero.
So
Obviously, pardon?
where have we had the day zero discount? Day zero ka where have
Hey,
we put
13 lakh
in
hai
that?
na? 13 lakh is this one day zero.
Okay, so okay, understood. Got it.
Okay. So this is the formula given here. Now let's say you are going to bid for a project, bid for this particular item. Okay. You have to quote a price, minimum price. Okay. Because you know there are some other people who are also competing. Minimum price in such a manner that your NPV should not be negative. Are you getting my point? You are going to bid for this particular supply of this product to someone, where somebody says that you have to supply for 5 years 10,000 units. You do your calculation, what you will invest, that is your problem. You give the quote to us. 150, 130, 100, 50, 60, all these things. And you know, like you, several of them also will be quoting. And you like to get the price, you get the quote. But at the same time, you cannot have a project where NPV is going to be zero. So how do you go about it in this case? What will be the minimum price to quote? That's the question here. Find the minimum bid price. How do you do that? Your inputs will remain same. Your variable cost remains same. But whatever is there, your fixed cost is given, your depreciation is given, your cost of capital is given, tax rate is given, everything is given. You have to give the quote now. How do you go about? You have to now go for this. Which more formula will you use in Excel for this particular thing?
Goal seek.
Goal seek.
Goal seek. Essentially, what I'm discussing here is that you have to find out the price. That is P is not given. This particular thing is given. Let's say it is 0. You have to find this particular price, or there is a question mark. Okay. You have to find this particular price where NPV is going to be 0. That means, what is my operating cash flow formula? Look at this. Are you able to this one? Can you see this one? Let me increase the font for this one. Okay. Right. What is operating cash flow formula? In this case, it is a special case where your fixed cost is constant, your variable cost is there given per unit constant, and also your sales is constant. What is my operating cash flow? Sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit, that is your contribution per unit, into number of units sold as Q, the quantity. Remove the fixed cost, which is not cash fixed cost, then remove the depreciation, whatever left over. In that you multiply 1 minus t, then add back depreciation, that is your operating cash flow per year. Your sales price is your unknown figure x. Your VC is given, your Q is given, FC is given, depreciation is given, T is given, again depreciation is given. Your SP is X. You got something, you will get something into X now. That is what? Operating cash flow per annum. Then you also know the present value factor. So present value factor into this gives you present value operating cash flow. Then add back the present value operating your salvage value and recovery working capital. Okay. Then equate with what? 13 lakh rupees and solve for it. You can also do it manually. You can set this in equation manually and solve for it also and find out the price for the price of the unit. You can also do that. Suppose goal seek is not there, you have to do it manually. You can also do like that because you have to set up the equation only. Okay. So here you have the goal seek. So you can always take the help of goal seek here. So I'll say what is the 120 was this thing, right? Okay. So if I go to goal seek, what I do there? I data what if goal seek. So goal seek is this one is equal to 0 by changing the price of the product, that is your D2. Okay. So what is my price? What is my price? 105.47. So I should not be quoting any price less than 105.47. I quote say 106. Let's say. So 106 I quote. If I get the bid, okay, otherwise not, I don't get, that's another thing. Because otherwise what will happen? I will not be creating wealth for the investor because my NPV is going to be negative. If I quote at a price lower than this and I also get the bid, in that case, I'll be eroding the wealth of the investor. That means I'll be earning a return which is less than the cost of capital of the company. Okay. So let me do this one. So you can do it manually also, na? Any doubt how to do it manually? This is the thing you have to set only, this one. This particular figure into annuity plus this particular figure, you have to do that. Okay. Any doubt at this point? No doubt? Very good.
Sir, do we have a test next week?
Tomorrow you have a test, na? Yeah, next week also you'll have.
Sir, can you please take a combined test next week of these two topics because this week we already have too many tests.
No. Don't worry. 10-15 minutes only, na. Spend that because a combined test, I have to schedule a test outside the class hour. You give me a time, which will be difficult to find out which is available for everybody. No, everybody is available. I know that because you cannot set a time where, and also I thought of having some extra class also. I don't know. So because we have missed the class and I couldn't compensate it also. So that is another thing. Combined test to hold because more topics will be there. And I know if it is more than 30-35 minutes, it becomes problem for you. 15-20 minutes is the right thing. So please bear with me. Because if I conduct more number of tests, it is beneficial for the student. Please keep that in mind. Because I'll take n-2. So if I reduce one test from total number, people will be losing because of that. So if I hold more number of tests, it is beneficial for the student for the evaluation. That is another positive thing about it. That's what I feel. Okay. Who was asking this question? I didn't see that. Okay, no problem. So let me show you one more here. Come here. On this one. Are you seeing here one particular bit? It is one of my favorite question also. You see a two project here, project A, project B. Only both the projects have 1 year life. That means it seems you are investing 10,000 today, you are getting 20,000 tomorrow. Means up to 1 year. Similarly, in this project, you are investing 1 lakh rupees today and getting 1,50,000 after 1 year. Your required rate of return or cost of capital is 12%. So if you go to find your NPV, nothing but just discount this first year cash flow by 12% and remove, and from there you deduct 10,000 rupees, that gives you NPV. So NPV 7857 and here it is 33,928.57. Okay. Now if you go by NPV criteria, you have to select project B. If you go by IRR criteria, you have to select project A. And you are in a situation, you are got a mutually exclusive project. As a manager, you have to select only one of the project, not both the projects you can select. If both the projects are option available, selection option is available, you can always go for it because both the projects have returned more than 12% and both the projects are also NPV positive. But that is not the condition. Condition you have to can select only one of them. One of them you have to go by IRR. It is then you have to select project A. If your criteria is NPV, you will select project B. Now the question is which one you should go for. Please raise your hand and I'll ask the question to you. Yes, Abhyukt is one as usual. Anyone else? Ramana, Tanaya, Vijay. Yes. Anyone else? Agantuk. Okay, I will not go to Abhyukt now. Abhyukt has participated so much in the class. Okay, including a lot of discussion. Okay. So Ramana, Tanaya, yeah, Ramane, Tanaya, right? Tanaya, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So basically the net NPV value will tell us the present value of cash inflows and outflows over a period of time, and IRR will give us the estimate of the profitability, like percentage return on the particular investment that we would get.
So which one
So
you go for?
I think I would prefer NPV.
Okay. Let me go to Agantuk.
Yes, sir. I also think I would prefer NPV because IRR is good for a long term, but as it is only 1 year, so I would think I would go for NPV.
Both are any 1 year.
Yes. In 1 year, the NPV
The
is
long term,
greater
short term
than
doesn't make any sense here because both of them have same life. But I'm just countering your argument because the long term you would mention, that's what I'm saying. Okay, no problem. So you are saying you will go by NPV. Abhyukt?
I'll also go by NPV.
Why? IRR
Sir,
is so much high here.
I know the return is high, but 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees won't make that much of a difference in my life. Jitna 1 lakh rupee or 1.5 lakh rupee can make. So for me, let's say your 1 rupee becomes 5 rupees. IRR is like 500%, but it's not a significant amount to me. I also want at least a certain ticket size of my investment to be present, right? So yeah.
No. Don't bring so much subjectivity here. This 10,000, 1 lakh rupees is just don't bring ticket
Okay.
size, all this.
Okay.
I can also change it. I can make this as 20,000. Let's
Got
say.
it. Got it.
Just
The second thing you can do is that NPV is a measure of how much excess value you're getting today. It's like a representation of how much money you're making today. It's in some way it signifies that. So in absolute dollar amounts, it signifies I'm making more money. The return might be more on another project, but I'm making more money from the
So
NPV.
I reduce the ticket size to 50,000. You see this, still the conflict is there.
Yeah.
So don't go by those things.
हाँ,
You have to
definitely.
go by the concept. Okay.
Yeah.
So judgment is in favor of NPV. Okay. And you will see that next class. I just concluded the one point is that the fact that you are considering 1 lakh rupees, that means you have 1 lakh rupees with yourself. If you do not invest in this particular 1 lakh rupees project, you will go for 10,000. Your 90,000 will be left over. What shall you do with the 90,000 rupees? You will invest at risk-free rate of return. That means if you go for project A, you will be two projects. One project for project A, second project will be for risk-free return project called 90,000 rupees. When you combine those two projects and find out the NPV or IRR is going to be lower than this value here. Okay. So that way what we'll do now, we'll go by something called, I have done it here already. We go by a second project. Okay. Oh, this is another project anyway, 10, okay, this one, incremental cash flow. Go by the incremental cash flow 90,000, 1,30,000 incremental, compare this A and B, you do that. Or what you do, you scale it up 10 times so that you become, why this particular problem is arising, this is called size disparity. This conflict is because of size disparity. Size is 1 lakh versus 10,000. You can make the same size common. That means as if you're investing 10 projects of project A, then both the projects are now same size. You see here, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Now you see what is happening. Which particular project is having more NPV or IRR? Which one?
The project
If you
A.
scale it up to 10
Project A.
times, then project A is okay. Otherwise, you go for project B. Okay? Right? You do not have option, nothing is given that you can replicate the project A 10 times, 9 times more. You do not have the option. You can have only project A, project B, one project A, one project B. So that way, I'll just hide it. We'll go by incremental analysis. So 90,000 extra you invest, 1,30,000 extra you get, and 26,000 NPV you get extra. And this is also 44% more than 12%. So since incremental project is NP positive as well as IRR more than the cost of capital, so that means you can go for project B. This is the way we will compare. Okay? चलो आज तो 5 minutes का break भी नहीं हुआ. 5 minutes हुआ.
Sir,
Yes, I have stopped recording.